This is the All Rev'd Up podcast, and this is season 5, episode number 3. I'm Reverend Emmett Price.
And I'm Reverend Irene Monroe.
Irene, before we talk about your fascination with Kim Kardashian, your fascination, let us thank each of our listeners and viewers. Thank you for listening to us on the various podcast apps and for watching the actual live recording of the podcast on our YouTube channel. We are grateful for your support, your encouragement, your feedback, your reviews, and your comments. Thank you so much for sharing the podcast with others.
And it always gives me a pleasure to always say to you all a tsunami of thanks for tuning in.
And on top of that tsunami of thanks, we thank our phenomenal producers, Kyla Wright and Cavante Smalls.
Indeed.
Irene, last week we discussed Queen Serena Williams. The week before, or the episode before, we discussed Brittany Griner. And you, last episode, had to bring up the name Kim Kardashian. I must confess, I have no interest in Kim Kardashian. But I do want to know why you are so fascinated with her. If our listeners don't believe me about your fascination, take a listen to this.
Blackfishing, very simply, is where white women like Kim Kardashian appropriate our lips, try to have some junk in the trunk, appropriate hairstyle. Let me give you a good example. She's not the first one. See, so I get really pissed, and I need to just say that here's Kim Kardashian wearing cornrows and giving attribution and homage to Bo Derek, because she sees her in a 1979 photo from a film she's in, and not understanding that the origin it comes from Black culture. But I like her retort because she says that Kim Kardashian is trying to buy that butt. We begin to see the fear and fascination of the size and shape of Black bodies here. And
Irene, what gives? What's up with the fascination?
Well, the fascination, Emmett, and the frustration that I have espoused, and I had no idea how much I've talked about her, is like many of us African American sisters. She's emblematic of a bigger problem, and that is really profiting from the aesthetic of Black women. Now, and what is also problem, and the interesting thing, she's not the only one, but she becomes the paragon, the big one, the one that has, she's supposedly a friend and an ally to Black people, but not realizing how it just reeks of privilege. I just need to enumerate, because I know you probably feel, Emmett, I'm always talking about her, but it really is problematic how, she could, like I said, in that little clip, she could wear, cornrows, but we had to have the Crown Act passed here in Massachusetts as in other states, because we can't be happy to be nappy. I mean, we're always being jeered about our buttocks. And historically, there was the Hottentot Venus, who was put on display as a freak because she had a curvaceous, buttocks. But then she had these plump lips. Come on, I could just go on and on, but I want to put in a few other things. The acrylic nails, there was a time she actually wore blackface. She has used Black women as a surrogate for her 2 children. Her personal life consists of profiles of Black men. And she has monetized the proximity to Black culture. And I've talked about the Black fishing in that little blurb there. So, I mean, my concern is not a kind of obsession, but it's about the frustration that here we are being authentically who we are and cannot be accepted and monetize on ourselves. But, the cultural appropriation that takes place. And the question really raises that everyone is asking, what kind of talent does she have? We have to remember that in 2007, and if we all remember this here, is that she did this pornographic video with RJ, who is the little brother of Brandy. Ray J, that's right. Ray J, who is the little brother of Brandy, and a well-known R&B singer here. She monetized that. She made millions of dollars off of that. We only know her not only through that video that came out, and actually it catapulted her career, but we know her as the daughter of Robert Kardashian, who was the attorney for OJ, and also the BFF of socialite Paris Hilton. What is her talent? What is her talent? I mean, she help me. You know,
I can't help you because I don't share the fascination. I mean, this is the thing that, many people say she's famous for being famous. I mean, so when you're looking for a talent, I don't know. When I did a profile on her and checked her out, apparently she's an American socialite, media personality, and businesswoman. I mean, that's how she's being chronicled. But you mentioned, her coming up with Paris Hilton, and don't forget Nicole Richie.
oh, that's
They had
right.
a show called The Simple Life, and this is going back to 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. And before that is when she hooked up with Ray J
That's right.
around 2002, because she was working for Brandy. And there
That's
was
right.
some kind of insinuation that her and her sisters or so had stolen some money on a credit card.
That's right.
Y'all can go
That's
look
right.
that up because I'm not
That's
even
right.
interested in none of that. And of course, 2007, as you mentioned, she gets the show Keeping Up the Kardashians with the Family. She's had a mobile game,
That's
clothing
right.
lines, products.
It's one thing after
A
another. And
book.
let's not talk about the long running show. Keeping up with
Yeah,
what? The
yeah,
Kardashians.
but so what? I mean,
So
this is the thing. So what? Look, we
so what is
episode
their
one we
cultural
talked about
appropriation?
Brittany Griner.
Hmm.
Episode two we talked about Queen Serena Williams. In episode three, you want to talk about Kim Kardashian?
That's
Irene,
right.
what gives?
Because it's part of Black culture when we're talking about cultural appropriation. It's one of the things that again we're more likely to get it from our supposedly allies, people who say they're for the community, than we are from someone like who's outside of the community. Her proximity to Black culture, to Black men, to Black women, she has pimped it in such a way that in many ways it's like it doesn't become noticeable unless she is doing it herself. And the interesting thing that bothers Black women. It really does, because we have an aesthetic that is identifiably us. And we try to navigate that identity without the jeers, without the castigation that we constantly get, without the sort of just not being accepted for who we are. And then we see this actually being replicated, being appropriated by a white woman who can't even do the aesthetic well, but nonetheless, it's being recognized and yet can monetize it, and yet also influence
But she
culture.
but she must be doing it well because she's sexing the brothers. She's marrying the brothers. She having babies for the brothers. She making money for the brothers. I mean,
Is
I
she
mean, what's
making money
going
for the
on?
brother? No, she making money for herself here. No, and at this point here, she has pimped out so much of Black culture. She can rest now. She can rest now on all the money she has made and leave us behind. Okay? She has tapped us out like just the way a slave master would do. I'm done now. I can move on to something new.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I'm
Because
absolutely
at
positive. And I need to say this, Emmett. It's really interesting. It's sort of like, you know, we like to say that it's nothing, but it's everything, because it's very much about, again, the way our history is subjugated. It's demonized. I mean, part again of what we're trying to do in this new phase is to set the record straight. Is to help supposedly our allies to understand how they're either complicit or rather intentional in abusing us, also pimping us, as well as negating their behavior. And there's a responsibility that comes with being an ally. And that doesn't mean that because you sleep Black, that you become Black. And because we got to understand that sexual appetite too becomes eroticized. So, and I don't care who she sleeps with, but let's not get it twisted. Because you sleep in Black don't mean that doesn't come out of an aesthetic of that is racialized in and of itself.
Okay, okay. I'm feeling you. I'm feeling. I just I just don't know if it needs to be her that brings this out of us. But maybe it does. Maybe
Well,
she's the
she's the biggest
catalyst
one.
for
No,
the
no, no.
conversation.
Yeah, but she's the biggest. She's the biggest
I
one
don't want
we
to hear about it
have.
no more because
No,
I'm
no. I don't want to talk about it anymore because
thank you.
my
Thank
blood
you.
pressure will go up. But it's not to negate what a big national, if not international, sensation she is. And in many ways, she thinks she has credibility. She has a black card because she now has biracial children. And so what happens is that it really is the stealing. Okay, and appropriating sounds too academic and too nice, but it's a stealing of a people that is emblematic too of white culture. She's not the only one, but she's the biggest one. We've seen this in the record industry. We have seen this in our dance, various ways of our expressions in terms of the languaging we do. But when once we hear it from a white person, it becomes gets its credibility. It has the kind of cultural and even political cachet and social and currency that just hearing it out of our mouths, it's always questioned.
All right. Well, we got to take a break. When we come back from this break, I have a question to ask you because you have given you've given us a lesson on appropriation redux. So when we come back from
Another favorite word of mine.
yeah, so when we come back from this break, I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm going to see if you can bring clarity to it. This is the All Rev'd Up podcast. We'll be right back.
After many years of making Forbes' highest paid celebrity list, Kim Kardashian West is officially a billionaire this year. She made the Forbes billionaires list with a net worth of $1 billion.
This is the All Rev'd Up podcast, and we're back. You just heard from Forbes that as of April 6th, 2021, Kim Kardashian, Irene's friend, is estimated a net worth of $1 billion. Irene, I got to ask you this question. Now, let me get it out before you jump in. Because we all know, any listener who has listened to us for any episode in the 5 seasons that we've been together know about your perspective on reparations. We all know that reparations is one of these words that as soon as you hear it, you jump in and you talk about how, when, why, and now. Irene, Kim Kardashian has made over $1 billion on the backs of black women. Should she pay reparations to all the sisters out there? What do you say, Irene? What do you say?
I say absolutely, because she has capitalized on monetizing on black bodies. So that booty she got, that bootyliciousness that she's trying to flaunt, okay, that's mine and every other black woman, okay. So we need some money for having that beautiful, huge butt, okay. Our lips, our plump lips, those are mine. Okay, really, dark skin, that's mine. Cornrows, that's mine. You know. Black men, I'm okay with that because I understand that when it comes to white women, that's black men's, kryptonite. I ain't mad. However, okay, her style, even her mannerisms, the way she walks, that's mine. And every other black sister. Reparations is certainly needed.
I had an idea that you were going to say something like that, but I didn't think that you was going to chin check her derriere and be like, yo, that's mine. Give
That's
it
mine.
back.
That's my on that. Okay. When I see that butt, walk the red carpet, that's my butt. Okay. When I see those plump lips, those are my lips. And when she kissing Kanye or anybody else, those are my lips kissing.
I got to tell you this. I mean, I really didn't want to do this episode, but I'm so glad we are because, who would have ever thought that, this kind of conversation would come out here, because everybody's talking about the sex tape and the the whole notion of who knew and who didn't know, and people are talking about, all of the various things that have been controversies over the years. The fact that, at some point, apparently she's going to become a lawyer without going to law school because she's apprenticing at Van Jones's, nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she was able to go to the White House and talk about prison reform under the Trump era, and apparently she's doing something with the Biden, White House around, Armenia and advocacy there. But it's very interesting that even she said in a tweet that being a billionaire is not bad for somebody with no talent. I mean,
That's right.
Is this capitalism at its best?
At its best and at its worst, because part of capitalism and certainly part of slavery is to profit off of the backs of the people who are marginalized in society. Now, one of the things that we're doing in this sort of era of enlightenment and correction here, we understand slavery in this way, and that these were subjugated people who could not monetize their talents. And one of the things that we understand that with many of the inventions that we have accredited to white people, we realize that not all of that is true. And the thing that we're trying to do, not only correct the record, but also monetarily pay people or the generation that now is with us for the kind of legacy that their ancestors left and didn't get credit for. I mean, see, we understand this when we talk about within the context of slavery, but we got to understand that slavery sort of reinscribed itself within the historical context that we're in. This is a different form of stealing, of using a marginalized people to profit here. And the interesting thing, well, no, she's not Master, but she certainly is Miss Ann and Miss Daisy. And I make this point very clear. I ain't taking care of Miss Ann and I ain't driving Miss Daisy, and give me my money.
Whew. I mean, I just have to say that I am absolutely done with this. I really am.
But my fury is that it's not singular; it's collective. And while you're hearing it from me, that we're here. You listen. One of our producers is a female. Kyler, our audience can't see, but would you nod that I spoke the truth and shame to death? Go ahead. And she's many generations younger than me. Okay, so this talks about a problem that has gone on and continues to go on and being reinscribed, differently, but it doesn't negate what the problem is.
I'm just going to call for your final word because, I don't have nothing else to say. I really don't.
Kyla Wright, thank you for backing me up, honey. And I'm old enough to be her great, great, great grandmother.
Come on now. Get out of here.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So my benediction for tonight is be your authentic self. Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, said this: the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Being your authentic self is who you are at your deepest core. And living an authentic life is a constant effort. It is a collection of choices you have to make each day to show up with yourself and for yourself. It is a conscious move away from who you should be, espoused by popular culture, family pressure, religious belief based on obligation, roles, and expectation. Not being your authentic self is a form of self-editing. It directs you in trying to be someone else, and it is giving up on an aspect of yourself, and it focuses on what isn't in your life rather than what is. Being your authentic self is not someone you invent, but rather it's about making yourself available to who you are. Ashe.
Ashe.
And amen.
Amen.
I'm done. Shoot. Okay, my frustration is emblematic. Okay, really. I'm done. And she's a billionaire? Okay, no offense. I know but I want to say that ass is my ass. Okay, I didn't have to.
All Rev'd Up is brought to you by us, the Revs. Our amazing producers are Kyla Wright and Cavante Smalls.
Music for this episode is from Reverend Price's son and musical prodigy, Emmett G. Price IV. All Rev'd Up is distributed by GBH.
Additional thanks to Bob Kempf, Elizabeth O'Brien, May He, Devin Robbins, Meredith Neerman, and Zach Waldman.
If you like what you hear, let us know. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts and follow us at All Rev'd Up Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Feel free to send us a note, a question, or a comment to allrevduppod@gmail.com. We'll be back